Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking all the teams' grounds in the National League for the 2019-2020 season, ranking from the best to the worst in the fifth tier of English football. So make sure you leave a like on the video. Let's try and smash 50 likes as we always try and do. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on about 4.3k, so maybe we can get 5k reasonably soon, so make sure you do subscribe. And yeah, let's get straight into the video. So before we start, I'm just going to give, when I rank these teams, I'm going to rank them out of 10. I'm going to rank them basically off the price, what's around the ground, maybe bars, pubs, if I did get any food there, and obviously the overall ground as a whole, and also my based off my own experiences there. I haven't been to all the grounds in the National League yet because teams have come down from League 2 and haven't been able to go there, and teams have come up as well, and some teams I haven't been able to get to because it's really far away. So I have got some of your guys' opinions. I put on like review sort of the question thing on Instagram. Go straight off to Mill Farm, which is AFC Fylde's ground. Again, I'm a real fan of this ground. It's a really nice ground. It's got a massive, really nice stand. It's got a great bar. It's got a KFC. It's got a Tesco nearby. If you don't want to get the food in the ground, you can get that. I do like the other three side of the ground as well. We did lose 2-0 that day. But yeah, I really like this ground. I think one thing it is lacking is a bit of atmosphere. There was a drum, but they maybe need to work on that if they do go up. I'm going to give AFC Fylde an 8.5 out of 10 for Mill Farm. So the next ground is the EBB Stadium, which of course is Aldershot. I really do like this ground. I've been there 3 times last year. The January one, we drew 0-0 in the smaller stand. There wasn't a great view to the left of the stand, but it was a really good atmosphere. It was a little bit packed in there. That was just because there wasn't enough to go in the East Bank, but then there was a little bit too many in that stand. But then 2 times in the East Bank, that was an incredible atmosphere. Probably one of the best I've had at a non-league game from both sets of supporters. Aldershot fans were fantastic. Maybe a little bit loud on us at times, but when they scored, that was a really it was an incredible video. If you haven't seen it on the non-league best non-league fans video, it's incredible. And the East Bank is a lovely stand compared to some of these modern sort of grounds with these sort of cops. I really do like that stand, and I do like this ground. And got some obviously incredible memories in the East Bank as well. So I'm going to go for an 8 out of 10 for EBB Stadium. Next ground is Barnet with the Hive. The Hive is actually a really nice ground. I do like the ground, but there are some things around it which don't make it great. Not a lot of people go, so there isn't a great atmosphere. When we went there was a wedding, so we couldn't have access to the bar. It took an obscenely long time to get into the ground for some weird stewarding as well. So I do like the Hive as a ground, but all the stuff around the matchday experience kind of does bring it down a bit. So for the Hive, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Next up is Barrow with Holker Street. This isn't a ground I have been to because it takes 6 hours to get there is the only reason. But Holker Street, it is a nice ground. It's a decent little ground. Based off reports, people have mixed reviews of it. People say it doesn't have a great atmosphere. It's a nice ground, it's a decent stadium, so I'm going to give it a solid 5 out of 10 for Barrow. We then go to Boreham Wood, back down south with Meadow Park. I have been to this ground once last season. It was a 0-0 draw, it was really cold. We didn't have access to the bar because it's segregated for some unknown reason when there's literally about 600 people there. So the atmosphere isn't great, there's pretty much no one there. And I don't understand why the segregation. It's really expensive to get in as well. The pitch is quite nice. That's something I can say nice about it. But yeah, this is not definitely one of my favourite grounds in the league. I'm a huge fan of Meadow Park. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. We then stay down south and stay in London/Kent with Bromley AFC with Hayes Lane. Yeah, this is another one. Bromley have had a massive stand, kind of similar to Ebbsfleet. It's a massive stand, but there isn't many seats. There's a lot of stuff behind it which are adding to it. When we went to the ground, I've only been to there once, which was the last season when we got absolutely spanked, but the game was done anyway. So I don't think I can really give a great review of the atmosphere because there was nothing to play from either side. Generally, I think it is pretty decent. It was a little bit disappointing we couldn't use the gated side where there's I think there's a little bit of banter between the 2 fans, which is obviously decent. Solid ground, I like what they're doing with the new stand, so I think I'm going to have a 6 out of 10 for Hayes Lane. We then go back up north with Chesterfield FC's Proact Stadium. Looking wise, this is probably the best stadium in the league. It is a really modern stadium, and it shouldn't be in the 5th tier of English football. Simple as that. It's got it's a nice ground. It's a little bit out of town, but it is a nice ground. To be fair, even when Chesterfield, even when they were down the Dups when they played us, they still created a decent atmosphere in the sort of cop they call it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 because looking wise, it's probably the best ground in the league. There's not many grounds in this league that have the concourses. They're really decent, and like pies and stuff in the concourses. Not many grounds have that, especially in non-league. So it is a really decent ground. 8 out of 10 for Chesterfield's Proact Stadium. Then have Chorley with Victory Park. This is a ground I haven't been to because I'm not going to travel to the National League North to watch Chorley there. I think this is the first time they've been in the National League. I don't know. But yeah, this is a standard ground. You know, it's one of those sort of newly promoted stadiums. It's kind of I don't think the atmosphere is too bad. It's pretty standard. I don't think the price is pretty similar. Yeah, it's average for the National League. It's 5 out of 10. It's solid. It's not that bad. Number 9 is Dagenham and Redbridge. Dagenham's ground. I've been to this 2 times. I've been in the standing section and also the sitting down section. This ground's okay. It's solid. It's really expensive though. That's the only problem with the ground. And also the atmosphere isn't great. It's really expensive. Yeah, the problem is it's really expensive. I think there was a weird time where in the first season we went there that it cost more to be an away fan than a home fan, which is ridiculous. It's an okay ground. It's all right. The stand the away fans in is really nice. The rest of the ground is pretty standard, so it's going to be a 6 out of 10 for Dagenham's ground. We then go down south to the south coast of Dover for the Kragle Stadium. Again, this is, as I said about the Aldershot one, it's a really annoying one to get up to. I think because you have to go up these massively long hill and through this rugby park to get to the away end, which is a bit annoying. The ground isn't amazing. The atmosphere is okay. So I'm going to give the Kragle Stadium a 4.5 out of 10. Stay reasonably down south with Eastleigh FC, the Silver Lake Stadium. We've been to this ground once. The only annoying thing is you don't get a proper ticket. You get the pub in the ground's pretty nice. The little bar outside's nice. But yeah, I do like this ground. It's a nice setup to it. It's a nice sort of big stand and then sort of around the atmosphere. They do have a drum, so they create a bit of decent atmosphere there. They've got decent attendances there. I do like Silver Lake Stadium. It was a decent experience there. Nice sunny day. But I'm going to give the Silver Lake Stadium a 7 out of 10. We then we're going to go to Ebbsfleet, which is obviously a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The atmosphere is pretty decent. We do have one massive stand and then kind of your classic sort of non-league stand. If you're a away fan, it's probably not great if it rains. But it's an okay ground. Obviously, you can make your own opinions. I'm going to be biased and probably say 10 out of 10. But I'm going to go 7 out of 10 just so people don't get too angry about that one. Halifax Town's ground, which is called the Shay. I have been to this ground. It's a personal one. I can't give this ground a high rating just because what happened in March. I'm not going to remind myself of it. I can't give Halifax a ground rating. I'm going to have to give it a 2.5 out of 10 just what happened in March. We then stay up north and in Yorkshire with Harrogate Town. Again, I do like this ground. They've made a few adjustments to it. It's not incredibly big. It's nothing amazing about it. It's, you know, classic non-league sort of small stands. But I do like the atmosphere in the ground. It's really nice. I do like the kind of with the painting on the back of the behind the goal, the Harrogate Town sort of stuff, the yellow stuff there. So yeah, I do like this ground. It's a solid ground. I would like to see how they've added the sort of the new stand stuff if I go there again. So I'm going to give Harrogate Town a 7 out of 10. Decent ground. Enjoy the experience there. Nice little ground. So more up north, we go up to Hartlepool, a ground I haven't been to, Victoria Park. The atmosphere is solid. People seem to enjoy the ground. Bit of banter between the two fans. The Hartlepool fans overall are very, very nice, and it's not too expensive around the ground. So it's a solid ground. Absolutely, we've got some decent results over the last few years. I think 1-0 and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to take. Basically, for your opinions, I'm going to give Hartlepool a 7.5 out of 10 for Victoria Park. Next up, it's Maidenhead with York Road. I've been to this ground once and I've got an amazing experience at York Road. But not of the ground. The ground is pretty standard. It's probably, it's pretty standard. There's not much seating. It took about half an hour to get out when we were there, and there wasn't any segregation, but they have worked on that since then. It's an okay ground. It's got a lot of character. It's one of the oldest grounds in the world, I think, is one of the stats they use. But it's an okay ground. The atmosphere, I think, has improved since I've been there. But yeah, I think it's a okay ground. Solid 5 out of 10 for Maidenhead York Road. The new ground to the league is Notts County. I did say technically Chesterfield's ground is the best in the league in terms of what it looks like, but I'm sure Notts County has to say that. The picture of the Notts County's main stand is incredible. Just look around the ground. I just think it just looks a little bit better than Chesterfield. I think the attendance is just a little bit more. and it just looks amazing. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with the prices, and obviously less people going through the gates. What sort of attendance did they get? I think they got 7,000 last year, which I don't see them getting again. But I think if they can get a solid 5,000 through the gate, that's a massive club in non-league football. Interesting to see how the atmospheres go, how well they do next season. But yeah, I really want to go to this ground. It's a huge ground for non-league. Clubs like Chorley, Maidenhead, Ebbsfleet going to Notts County is a huge game. It's one of the grounds you want in the FA Cup first round. So to play Notts County is a huge game for a lot of teams in the National League. And this ground, it'll be interesting to see what happens to the atmosphere and prices and stuff. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's just a real nice ground. Solihull Moors, this one I haven't been to, but Sam been to. He said it's a little bit better than Braintree, which I don't think is a great compliment for Solihull Moors. They have added a little bit to the ground. The atmosphere isn't amazing. It's a pretty standard ground. So I'm going to give Solihull Moors a 3.5 out of 10. Stockport County, another new ground I haven't been to yet. Hopefully I get to go to Edgeley Park. They had about 6,000 people there in National League North, which is incredible. But yeah, people generally do like this ground. I think they overall going to give it a 7 out of 10. People really do enjoy the ground, the atmosphere. And it's an incredible ground for National League North standard, and been there for a while. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep those high attendances in the National League. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for Edgeley Park and Stockport County. Sutton United, a pretty standard ground. Nice main stand, nice bar as well. But the real main thing about Sutton United is the cheap prices. That's why they get good attendances. They're not an overly massive club, but they get cheap prices, so they get people through the door. And I've always wanted FC to do that. We'd get way more people into the ground, but it's disappointing we don't get to do that. Mainly because they probably have the 3G pitches, and I have moaned about 3G pitches, but that's why they have them, because they can get people through the door, and they can have so many games, and so many different revenue streams through that. So yeah, the Sutton's ground is okay, but mainly just because it's so cheap. It cost me about £2 to get in, which is compared to some of their ground are 10 quid, so like 1/5 of some of the price of going to the other games. So just for the price alone, I've got to give it a 7 out of 10 for Sutton's ground. Torquay United, South West. Yeah, haven't been to this ground. I think people enjoyed it when they went there, which was when we were just confirmed we got into the playoffs. So it was a decent atmosphere down there. Torquay and Woking fans really enjoyed their trip. Also had a bit of a National League South title rivalry. And yeah, this is a really nice ground. It's a solid ground. Again, this is one of the best grounds in the National League South. Back in the National League now, it's a really nice pitch. Obviously, short time Truro are playing there as well. With Gary Johnson there, I think the atmosphere is going to improve. More people coming back to Torquay. I do like the Torquay Stadium, so I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Hopefully, I can make the trip to play more. Woking, again, I talked about the National League South title rivals a little bit before. Yeah, this is a weird ground. You've got 3 stands that aren't great. They're really sort of the classic non-league stands. The atmosphere was okay when we went there. The first 20 minutes was incredibly, really loud. But then after that, after I think, I can't remember who scored. After the Woking striker scored, it kind of died down a little bit. And Woking were flying at the time. They're about 7th or 6th in the league. So that was a bit weird. It's an okay ground. The massive stand is a bit out of place, but it is a really nice stand. So I'm going to give Woking's ground a 5 out of 10. Penultimate one is Wrexham AFC the Racecourse. Yeah, I really like this ground. It's a really nice ground. It's a traditional ground. You kind of got the mix of an old ground with the new stand. I do kind of like how you've got the massive stand that says Wrexham over it, and you've got the upper bits and the lower bits. I really like this ground. If the old stand was in use, then I probably would give it higher. Got really nice sort of pubs and around just like directly on the ground, which is really good and useful. Obviously nice tickets. Stewards and that were really nice as well. You had a little as you went into a little kid saying welcome to the racecourse, which is yeah, I enjoyed that. The downside to going was we were 4-0 down at half time, but oh god, just remembering that made me cough a little bit there. But yeah, I do like this ground. If the old stand, the massive stand, or the whatever it's called, the cop I think it's called, was in use, it'd probably be a 9. But I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Matching Mill Farm. Yeah, I really like the race course. Maybe I could go there again. This ground, it's also a new ground. Hasn't been in the National League in a while. Is Yeovil's ground. This one's certainly got mixed reviews in League Two, and also people have been there before. It's not an incredible ground for League Two. The attendances aren't massive, especially for this massive for League Two. Atmosphere apparently from League Two fans wasn't great. It'd be interesting to see. Maybe hopefully we'll go there. On my ground hub. I've literally have no grounds down there. So hopefully gonna add Torquay and Yeovil down there. But yeah, pretty standard ground. 5.5 out of 10 for Yeovil. So overall, those were my rankings for the best ground. My favourite two were Mill Farm and Wrexham. Let me know what your favourite grounds are, and also your worst grounds are in the National League. And yeah, let me know what you think of Harrogate Stadium, Stonebridge Road as well. And yeah, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later. See ya later.